Okay, so we got JJK chapter 257, and it starts off right out the gate, gives us some of the background story that we've been long coveting, right? We got to learn a little bit more about Yuji, even though it probably opens up for a broad array of additional questions. But we find out that Sukuna, yes, he did have a twin. He did eat his twin in the womb to survive because he was starving, right? But I guess where the unclarity begins is, him and Rame were having a discussion, and then
Hmm.
Rame is like, "Why is Yuji straight up like? Why is Yuji so strong? Like, why is this vessel so powerful?" And he was like, "He's the child of Kenjaku." But then he kind of goes into the whole, his twin soul thing and
Hmm.
Kenjaku reproducing with the like reincarnate of Sukuna's twin soul, right?
Right.
So right there, I think that's probably like just a massive reveal in the beginning of the chapter. So when you read that, just what were some of your initial reactions?
It's been long speculated that Yuji was Sukuna's twin,
Hmm.
but people were off by a little.
Yeah,
Apparently, Yuji's father is a reincarnation of Sukuna's twin, and he's a byproduct of that with Kenjaku. Somehow, I'm not sure when Kenjaku was aware of Yuji's father being, Sukuna's incarnate, and deciding, what, I'm gonna go ahead and bear Yuji as my son
yeah,
and give birth to him.
yeah,
But he is a byproduct of that. I mean, it's cool. It's not nothing that's like, I would say, like this crazy mass reveal, because it, by extension, it's associated with the pretty popular theory from the
yeah,
past. Only thing I do have a question about is Yuji's ability to use Shrine, whether or
yeah.
not that is a byproduct of him being, the Sukuna's nephew, or is it because he's been, soaking up the fingers for so long and being the host that once he's separated from Sukuna, now he just has that ability.
Yeah, that's a pretty good question. I think it has to do with him being, like you said, Sukuna's nephew and the soul. Because if I'm not mistaken, there's another part of the chapter where Sukuna mentions something about abilities and how they differ from with different sorcerers and different errors.
Over
So,
time.
yep. So that kind of made me believe that the shrine is coming from, his lineage,
Hmm.
but over time it's been developed and changed a little bit, and now Yuji has it. It's a little bit different than Sukuna's version, but that leads me to believe that it's the lineage more so than the fact that he was the vessel for so long. But that was just my
Hmm.
interpretation of it. I think you're right. In the community, this theory has been out there for a while, even though I thought it was a like I've been on board with it because it was such a wild theory for people to come up with, but I was like, it
Hmm.
makes so much sense that I've been on board with it. And obviously the reveals little bit different. So yes, I guess it kills some of the surprise because now you're not that surprised because you've been hearing this months and months and months on now. But it raises so many major questions, like because now I'm thinking like, why did Kinjaku covet to have a baby with Sukuna's twins reincarnate? Right? What did he know about Sukuna? How did he know something about Sukuna? Did, you, I guess all right, I guess maybe he knew Sukuna after Sukuna was born. He's like, okay, Sukuna's
Right.
special. But how did he know that there was a twin out there somewhere?
Yeah, how did he? Yeah, that's a good question, right? Did he get that information from Sukuna himself through conversation, or did he happen to? I know there's a theory out there saying that that Kenjaku is Sukuna's mom, and he was bearing the twins himself. That's crazy. That's diabolical, but yeah, that is interesting. And then also, how did he come to find out that Yuji father was Sukuna's twin? How did he identify
Yep,
him as
yep,
that person?
yep. Those are major questions. I think we need answers to it. And I know if you remember some videos back, I was like, yo, if we don't ever get that Kinjaku backstory full reveal, like this thing's gonna feel incomplete. And I think we're starting to see why I feel that way because it's like Kinjaku
Yeah.
holds so many pieces to this story. Like, why do you do the things that you do? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like he has some kind of master plan or had a master plan that, it just all these intricacies that he's been just developing for centuries, right?
Yeah.
Or longer than centuries, millenniums, maybe.
Yeah, for so long, especially with his body hopping technique. So I completely agree with you. Outside of that, You know, I think that was probably the most important thing of the chapter, right? We
Mhm.
did see Yuji, you know, land what 8 black flashes.
I think he's up to 8
Um,
now.
yeah, about to 8. So he's been dominating. It seems like Sukuna to the point where Sukuna is yelling, and he's getting a little bit flustered.
Kuna's very
Um,
frustrated, which I don't know
Very
if we've
starting to get
seen. I mean, I think the
that
last time we seen Sukuna yell was when he yelled for Maharaga, right?
right.
That so
But
that
this yell seems more
eh,
like frustration, like more so
right.
Maharaga was like desperation,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
this one is like more of a frustration.
Yeah. And it's like Yuji right now just going toe to toe with Sukuna, Black Flash after Black Flash. I have to believe that somehow Sukuna is going to start to gain the upper hand, because if Yuji just goes on from here on out and handles Sukuna and kills Sukuna, I think that'll be kind of insane. Like that'll be
That'll
an
be yeah.
insane direction for the story to take.
I agree. Completely agree. I do speculate the same thing. I think Sukuna's gonna, you know, start pulling some tricks out his bag, next chapter to kind of turn the tides a bit, may get into a stalemate, and then something else happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I agree.
I feel like, I don't know, I feel like the merger's on the horizon. Like I feel like the
Yep.
merger's on the horizon. Of course, you got your the other fight happening in the background, and maybe Urame has to intervene with something here. But I just feel like Sukuna has more things up his sleeve. He understands that he's struggling a bit here. Yuji's starting to gain the upper hand. I'm sure there's something else out there. Maybe it's gonna be the merger. Maybe it's something else prior to the merger. But I feel like the merger is getting closer to being activated now.
Yeah. And you bring up a good point with Urame, because I can definitely see Urame pulling the Haku and Zabuza situation where, you know, she comes in and sacrifices herself to kind of save Sukuna, or somehow keep Sukuna alive somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens next, man. I'm really interested to see what happens next for sure.
Yep. And then so Yuji's awakening, they weren't lying, he's awakened. But I have a question for you. Do you think anyone on the side of the Jujutsu heroes, right? Do you think any of them is privy to any of this information about who Yuji really is?
No, I don't think so. I genuinely don't think so, because I think if anyone was to know, maybe Gojo, you may have surmised that, but I didn't hear anything that really indicated that. So I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's crazy because, I'm still harboring on that line where, it's like, what did you do? There's like hard work. And I think Yuta was like, nah, we cheated. You know what I mean? We cheated, and I was just wondering, like, do they know something, or did they know something to be able to unlock some stuff in Yuji that became kind of like like a snowball? It's like, okay, we unlock something, and the abilities and the strength are just building up now. I don't know. It's just so many questions, that are running through my head that are still puzzling. But overall, just back to the chapter itself, the fighting. The fighting looked really impressive. Yuji looks like a dominant force. It almost can't even. He's not almost not recognizable to Yuji from even a few arcs
Yeah,
ago. And you just got to wonder what's Sukuna's strength level right now in terms of fingers. Oftentimes he's measuring in fingers. What's his strength level right now? And villains, when they get desperate, they'll pull out some stuff like, what could he do, right? Somewhat with the reveals is kind of what we found out with the Gojo situation, right? He made that binding vow, so it's like Sukuna's
yeah.
not afraid to use one of those dirty tactics to get to seal a victory. Yeah. But overall, though, I thought it was a pretty good chapter. The reveal in the front, I mean, in the beginning of the chapter, kind of just for me, that's what I needed. The fights were great, but the reveal was what I really needed, and I want to see them expand on the reveal. So I'll just be like waiting just to see where we go from there in 258 in the chapters to come. But
100%.
whoever else out there read the chapter, saw it, jump in the comment section. Tell us, what do you think? What do you think Kenjaku's master plan is? Or how do you think Kenjaku's privy to the information of Sukuna's long lost twin? Um,
Mhm.
I don't know. I can't even speculate. I know the community probably has some crazy theories. The theory of Kenjaku being Sukuna's mom as well is insane. But
Yeah.
jump in the comment section. Make sure you like and subscribe, and let's see what's gonna happen next at Jujutsu Kaisen.